Hi, welcome back. Today we are building a Salem witch house thing. It's like half historical, half functional family house in The Sims. So, my Art Deco house seemed to do really well, and I was like, someone in the comments was like, I want to see more historical stuff from you, and I was like, okay. So, yeah, I went on a trip to New York recently, upstate New York, and it was just, we went and the leaves were already turning, and it's like, we went like the third week of September, or second week, so fairly early for the leaves to be turning already, but it was like, you know, going through upstate New York, the leaves are turning, it's just, you drive through and it's like a rural, you know, place with like, you know, fields and just like little red barns everywhere. It's just, I don't know, it's beautiful, and it inspired me a lot to just make, well, just to get back into, this kind of stuff, into historical, I guess, stuff. I've always wanted to build Salem stuff, which I know sounds strange. Growing up in New England, these houses are on like every street corner. Not this house is like an exaggerated, like, fantasy look to it. Like I said, it's like half historical, half, you know, family home, so it's not 100% historical. Like, there's like a fridge in the kitchen, but no, I don't know. I think as a New Englander, these houses are on like every street corner. Like, you take field trips when you're in like middle school, elementary school, to like, you know, the little mill up the road, or like the 16th century whatever, or that's the 1500s. You get what I mean. Like, it's just like, you see them everywhere, they're like dotted everywhere, and then you just go on little field trips, and the field trips usually happen in fall for whatever reason. And so whenever I think of fall, I think of old colonial houses and, you know, Thanksgiving and pilgrims and all that, which, but, you know, it's just like, it's weird. I don't know. It's just what I always think of. So, and also, you'll notice this house, the eaves don't stick out very far from, like, the wall. But if you look at a lot of, like, historic photos or whatever of Salem, in those houses, like the houses of the Seven Gables, there was another one that I was looking at, but like, a lot of the roofs don't really overhang that much. They do, but they don't, and I'm like, the best way to represent it in The Sims is just to like pull it in all the way. So it does look a little strange, but I mean, that is what it looks like-ish, to a certain extent, so yeah, just the best way I could represent it in The Sims. But yeah, no, I don't know. I went to upstate New York. We went to the Corning Museum of Glass, which was really cool. Although that name is a bit of a mouthful. It should be like the Corning Glass Museum, not the Corning Museum of Glass. It just, Anyway, no, I'm kidding. But no, we had a lot of fun. I made a little glass pumpkin, like a little glass blowing thing. It was really neat. I've always loved glass blowing. I went to a glass blowing museum for my birthday a couple years ago, and me and my dad just like walked around. It was like a super small museum, but they had like a little like glass blowing demonstration. They had, oh my god, that's right. They had this table, and it was set up. It was like in like a dark room. It was a table behind like a glass wall, and they would use like a Pepper's Ghost effect, which was like, it's the effect they use in like the Haunted Mansion to make it look like the ghosts are like dancing. And they used that effect to put on the table different like tablescapes and like what different dishes would be where on the tables at what certain times of the year, or like different centuries. It was awesome. Just like, I know it probably sounds really boring, but I was just like, this little museum has this little Pepper's Ghost effect with like little videos and actors playing the lines, and the painting came to life, and I was just like, this little room was just like, there was so much love put in this little museum, and I was just like, I don't know, it was great. But So we did that for my birthday, and then I just was like, I wanted to see what else is out there. So we found the Corning Glass Museum, and it was like a weekend trip, like away from my house, and so I'm like, oof. But we planned like a little, like a day in Hudson, New York. It's a really beautiful town. If you ever go to Hudson, just walk around. It's like it reminded me a lot of like Savannah, Georgia, but also a lot like the towns that we found on like Route 66 in like Kansas, or like, oh, it's very like a weird mishmash, and it's super cool. But I'm just like, it reminded me of so many other places that I had been that I'm just like, this is really interesting. I've never been in a place that reminded me of so many other places before. That sounds weird, but like, I don't know, maybe that makes sense. I don't know. Anyway, this house. So it's 6 bedrooms. I'm gonna say technically 5, because the one in the attic doesn't really count as a bedroom, but it's like a witch's bedroom. Yeah, I mean, I went back and forth with making this like an actual witch house, because like the Salem witch trials, it didn't happen. I mean, okay, I don't want to say it didn't happen. There was no witchcraft going on. It was just like people being people and idiots and being like, you did that. Like, no, nothing happened. You guys are just idiots and have people murdered for no reason. Like, it's stupid. But it's The Sims, and I was like, we have witchy stuff. And I'm like, I hope this isn't like offensive or whatever to put witchy stuff in here. And then this is also a thing. I've never been to Salem. Never been. Really want to go, but like this time of year, it's crazy. So maybe like the 2nd or 3rd week in like November, or like the 2nd week in November or December. Oh, maybe like for Christmas. Yeah. I mean, okay, listen, I know you're supposed to go when it's like Halloween and the witches and everything like that, but it's so crowded. That's why I've never gone, because it's literally so crowded in Salem. So, but yeah, I don't know. I was toying, I was like, I don't know if this is a good idea to put the witchy stuff in here, but I did, because I'm like, there's a bunch of witchy stores in Salem that sell like the crystals and like the books and all that stuff. There's like a witch museum I really like want to go to, which I think I just like museums. I don't know. I like to just walk around museums and just like, look at things and do museum things. Look at things. Sorry, it's 1 a.m. and I'm like recording this, and yeah. So yeah, sorry about that. But this is actually one of my favorite rooms I did in this house. Which sounds weird, because there's not really much in it, but it just looks right. I don't know what about it looks right. I think it's just the furniture. There's not really much in it. I don't know why that looks right to me. It just does, but I don't know. That room was always like I like this room a lot. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about my channel for a second, because I did put out a channel update. When did that go up? I don't know. Friday, I think? So, I was kind of unhappy with some of the houses I was posting. There were a couple base game things that I kind of threw up, because I was like, well, I need something to post. I don't really know what to post. So I kind of made like a fake schedule for myself and like decided when to post things, and then stressed myself out on this fake schedule on if I could or not get things out. And I think in the update video, I was hoping to get 3 videos out this month, or each 3 videos per week out this month. Yeah, that's still going okay. Yeah, I don't know. The houses I was posting, just kind of wasn't happy with them. I don't know. I like to, like, this house, I think it took me like at least 4 hours, I think, right? Hang on, if I scroll through my footage. So we have an hour and 20, we got 20, so that's an hour and 40, plus another hour and 40, plus another 3, or plus another 30 minutes. So we got like, what? That's at least, yeah, it's like 4 hours, right? I think I did the math right. Because if you combine, it's like an hour and a half, and then, you know, carry the 2. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no, it was about 4 hours. I think. It's fine. I'm not good at math. Again, 1 a.m. I think I was rushing, and I just wasn't happy with it. So I'm gonna try to slow down and, like, put things out that I'm happy with. And there's a thing I've been working on for a long time. It's called Estate. It's just basically an estate that I'm building with a bunch of CC. And I've been working on it since like the middle of August, I think, or even earlier. And it's been sitting on my computer, and it's so much, and it's sitting there, and it is half built. I didn't want to rush anything, so I was just like, you know what, it's a CC build, I'm gonna record it, but I'm gonna take my time, and there's a lot of things I changed during the build, which kind of makes it hard to edit in a way, because I feel like there was this thing that was happening where I would build things or I would click record to build things, and then I would put like an expectation on myself to then make it look better than I knew I could probably make it. And then I would like double guess everything. I would, not be as confident as I probably should have been with my builds. Which then kind of just like makes everything after that kind of feel weird. I don't know. There's like a weird like recording stage fright that happens. Like there was a person I was watching, and he was talking about it, and I was like, okay, so it's not just me. I'm glad about that. But yeah. So I don't know. It was a lot of different factors coming together about me just being unhappy with some of the things I was posting. I think the houses I posted they're fine. I don't think they're like horrible. I'm not going to take them off my channel. But I'm going to try to just, be more conscious of that, and just be like, hey, if it's not good enough, just don't post it. Just take some more time. Just do it again if you have to, and post it when you're happy. It's fine. Yeah, so we're good. But, yeah, oh, this is kind of funny, right? I was like, I really want to put up these paintings from, there was one from Strangerville, or Strangetown, and then one from, the Horse Pack. And they both have, like, these really great landscapes, but they're of, like, mesas. Like, desert landscape mesas in, like, Arizona, Utah. And I'm just like, oh, well, they wouldn't have that here, potentially. Not a thing they've explored yet, so they wouldn't know it exists, so that's okay. So, but no, like those, I think those paintings are really are cool, and I'm gonna try to find a place to use all of them in something. I used one here on the fireplace, but I should do like an art gallery. Ooh. Wait, Sims can do like photography, right? So what if I make like a really like pretentious, like really stupid art gallery, but it's just like Sims posed in like weird positions, and that would be so funny. The entire thing's just like a parody. Ugh. Yeah, okay. Transitioning back to the glass museum that I went to, one of the very first things you walk through is the contemporary art section. It's still glass, but it's contemporary glass. And so you walk through that section, and you're kind of like, oh, okay. And then you go around, and you're like, oh, Corning has a lot of innovation. They made like fiber optics and Pyrex and all this really cool shit. They made like a telescope. That's fucking sick. And then you walk around, and you're like, oh my god, the history of glass? Absolutely. But you get to that part last. Why? I don't get it. I know they built like the extension with the modern stuff, and that became like the new museum like entrance kind of. I get that. But like, why wouldn't you put the modern stuff at the end? It was very confusing to me because this might sound, I'm not a big fan of modern art. So it was kind of off-putting to put that the very first impression is just modern art. You're like, oh, okay. It wasn't bad. I liked a lot of the stuff in there, but it was a weird, just like, oh, I would expect to have like the history first, and then you can go into like techniques and different stuff people have done, and then like modern times, you know. But whatever. I think I just wasn't expecting it. Like, I think I had gone to the museum thinking it was going to be about like Pyrex, which sounds weird, but I was fully like, you know what? Pyrex? Hell yeah, man. Show me all those patterns. But then there was really no mention of Pyrex, except for like, there was like a big tower that had Pyrex thingies on it, but just like the glass dishes and like a lump of Pyrex like on the ground, like a big lump of it. I'm like, okay, I don't know. I thought it would be more about Pyrex and the glassware and the, you know, not the Tupperware. That's different. But like, it was just, you know, all that stuff. The Carell stuff. They made Carell as well. Not Steve Carell, but you know, the plates. Anyway, it's a good museum. Yeah. Oh, this painting sticks out like a sore thumb, and it's supposed to. I didn't want to put this here, but then I was kind of developing like a little bit of a story in my head for this house. I think I want that to be like a needlepoint, kind of like, you know, just someone sitting there making like a needlepoint. It would have been like one of those old, because didn't people do needlepoints back then? That's like when it was like a thing, right? But yeah, it's not my favorite painting, and if you download this house, you can remove it. I'm not going to be like, whatever, just remove it. Change this house however you want it. But I wanted the entrance to kind of be like, this is how they show off, or like this is where they're putting like their new stuff. And oh my god, I'm talking way too much about shit that doesn't matter. So in the front of the house, there's a little room with like the desk and those cabinets and those two chairs that you saw me put in. That is supposed to be like the town apothecary, like the town doctor, kind of. And I was like, well, maybe like the witchcraft, whatever, is like that. And then I was like, I'm thinking too hard about this. It doesn't really matter. But I was like, that would be kind of cool. Also, I hate these wooden beams because when you lower the walls all the way, they still are there. They should collapse with the walls. But it's very like, it's like a character of these old homes, these old colonial homes, that they have these big wooden beams everywhere. So I just thought that was a good thing to put in because we got those in the last expansion. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna put these in. 'Cause if not, I was gonna use. Oh, I could have used the. If you draw like a fence on the ground and then you do you put like a spandrel, and then you delete the fence, the spandrel will stay, and then you can have like, you know, wooden beams, but they're just spandrels for porches, but they will appear in this. They'll divide the room awkwardly, so you can only do it on a grid space. So if your room is like an odd number, it'll either be every single, or you gotta figure out something kind of creative with it. But, I mean, that is a good way to have them, you know, collapse with the walls. But it does separate your room into several other rooms, which can be really hard to, like, move around if it's not in, like, the right spot. So if you do that, just, like, you know, be aware that it kind of, like, messes up the room. So do it last. So I learned that the hard way. But, yeah, working on the little kids' room. This is, like, the Victorian bedroom-ish. I say Victorian, but I don't know. Like, when was the Gilded Age? And, like, earlier. That was like early 1900s. Never mind. That was way too late. No, maybe not. I don't know. I don't really care. You know, it's The Sims. It's really hard to get like 100% historical accuracy, even when you're trying. You know, because like without custom content, there's only so much stuff you can really do in this game. There is a lot of content, and oh, that's right, I forgot. They released new pictures of Project Renee. You know, the totally not Sims 5 Sims 5. And it looks like shit. So, yeah, no, it probably doesn't need to be said, but I just want to make it clear that no, I will not be supporting EA in anything further. Well, let me preface, okay? The Sims 4 is always going to be, like, one of my favorite games, okay? I've played it far too often, and I do like it a lot, so I will probably continue to buy stuff for this game. Okay, yell at me later, but I will not support EA in the future for anything they want to do with The Sims, because it's just, they're killing the name. I will not buy into Project Renee. I'm done. This is it. The Sims 4, this is it, okay? It's so disappointing to just, like, we all knew it was coming, we all, like, for years, I was like, oh, that's a bad choice, but it is what it is. It's The Sims, whatever. It'll get better, right? We have, like, The Sims 5 to look forward to. And then it didn't. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have much hope anymore for The Sims in the future of the name of The Sims. I guess I'm most excited. Okay, so history likes to repeat itself, right? When SimCity 2013 was a complete failure, Paradox came out with City Skylines, which, and now, like, 10 years later, we're seeing this crazy amount of, like, indie games that are, like, city builders, cozy city builders, like, Manor Lords. You have, like, Tiny Glades, Metropolis 1988, which I'm excited to play. I already have, but, like, on this channel, you know, I want to play it. There's just so many games now that are city builders, like Farm Folk or something like that. There's, like, that island one. So City Skylines in my head kind of, like, revitalized this whole genre of gaming, and I'm kind of like, I'm hopeful for the future, but not in the way you would want me to be. I guess I'm excited for the future in the way that, like, I know that EA is gonna flop and fail and kill the Sims franchise, but when that happens, I know there's gonna be a whole string of potentially really good games coming, like Paralives. That hadn't been on my radar because to be honest, not a big fan of the art. It's changed. It looks great now. I think it took a while for me to be like, it wasn't my favorite, and so it took a while for me to come around to it. But I like it. I don't know much about the game at all, but I'm looking forward to playing it when it comes out, because I'm like, man, I love The Sims, but no, I'm done. I know there's, like, a new, like, Death expansion pack they're coming out with, like, next month, I think. Will I get it? Probably. Will I build stuff with it? Probably. So, I'm sorry, I know I'm part of the problem, but when you've invested 10 years into a game, and you only really use the parts of the game that interest you, and everything else is kind of just like I don't really deal with it. Like, you know, like, it's not, I know the game is a shit game, but it's my game. It's my shit game. You know? So, I don't know. There's also just a ton of custom content creators that are incredible and that I support, and I hope they continue to make stuff for this game, because it's a game built on shaky foundations, and it's always been, but I think the community has always made The Sims a million times better. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm talking over the screenshots, and I can't remember for the life of me what I have said for the past half hour. So, will I listen to it back? Probably not. So, yeah, I guess I will see you guys in the next video, which will be posted, this is going up on a Sunday, so on Thursday, I think, right? I don't know when this is going up, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay, I'm not going to try to forecast anything. Goodbye.